Welcome to episode 12 of Auto Off Topic. I'm your host, Brad.
And I'm your other host, Andrew.
Evening, Andrew.
Evening. Weather was decent over the weekend. Now it's raining and gross, but...
Yeah, and it's actually snowing up my way.
Oh, yeah. You're like 20 minutes north.
20 minutes north. Oh, I heard that noise. Hold on.
Yep.
Put my phone down.
Well, get away from the mic cable.
I'm trying.
Amateur hour over here.
Ah, failed. Gave me control to start the episode, and I blew it.
Mm-hmm. I took the Montero skiing.
For maybe the last road trip of the Montero, if somebody buys it?
Yeah, hopefully somebody buys it relatively soon.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to hang on to
Obviously,
it
it made it all the way there and all the way back, and wasn't an issue?
It was like 180 miles.
Round trip or one way?
Round trip.
Okay, it's not too bad. She didn't go real far up then.
No. That truck drives real nice, though. I'll probably miss that truck.
I'm sure you will.
Rides pretty decently.
Rides a lot better than my short wheelbase with leaf springs.
It was funny because I was like, this doesn't ride as smooth. And I realized that the seat got locked, the bouncy seat.
Oh, really?
At some
so
point,
it didn't have like the extra suspension seat that the...
Yeah. The little bus driver.
I prefer to think of it as like an 18-wheeler.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like an over-the-road truck driver.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of which, you got...
Nothing.
No, you bought...
Oh, I bought a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally. We've been talking about buying a truck. I finally bought a truck. Actually, today I picked it up.
Yeah.
I finished the paperwork and everything a couple days ago. Had a couple things to go through in the service. But yeah, I bought a truck. An '05 Silverado 2500 diesel with the Duramax diesel and the Allison transmission. And it's I've been driving it for, a few hours now. It's
not
pretty good.
It's not like a rock.
It rides like a rock.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty comfortable. It's got, the cushy leather seats, and it was a pretty high-end truck when it was new. The heated leather and big center console, and it's a really nice truck. So we'll see how it goes.
It's probably a $50,000 truck when it was new.
It was probably up there. I'm being attacked by the dog right now. It's okay. I'm petting him, probably. Why? All right, go away, Enzo. It was a pretty nice truck, and it's he's on my lap now. All right, get down.
Enzo, come here.
So yeah, I'll be using that to next step is to buy a trailer and start hauling some cars around.
Yep.
And obviously we'll start with your truck.
Right.
So I have a couple of people that have been interested in some of the cars that I'm selling actually this week, so that's good. So hopefully I can sell one of them pretty quick and use the proceeds to buy a trailer and head out west and pick up your new truck.
That's right.
New to you truck. So we'll both have new trucks.
That's right. And that was our project car updates. Because
Yes.
the Montero I put up for sale officially. It's on Craigslist. It's on Vine.
Yep.
It's on the Montero USA garage sale page.
Yes, which is on Facebook.
Which is on Facebook, yeah. That's
But you're a Montero owner or want to be a Montero owner.
Yes.
It's definitely a good place to join up.
The Dakar ended.
It did.
Did you watch the ending of it?
I did.
That's pretty impressive after like 5,000 miles.
Sudden to be so close that,
They're within 5 minutes of each other.
Exactly. I was a little upset that, I couldn't be upset because it was a really good finish, but it was a little anticlimactic on the last day that there really was no chance for
Loeb to catch
up to Hansel. But
I don't know.
it was still pretty good watching the second to last day.
At least during most of it, they didn't give any team orders.
There were no team orders, which is awesome. But they didn't need team orders because Peugeot finished 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I don't think Hansel or Loeb would either one of them would listen to a team order to let the other one win. So and they both have such an impressive career overall that it doesn't even matter who wins.
I'm going to call it now that Loeb will win next year. Just because he's already second place in his second outing.
Yeah.
They're just going to get better at it. He's just going to master it. That's just what
just
that guy,
like everything else he does.
That's what that guy does.
Yeah.
So
he came, he saw, he conquered. Yeah. Never did it again. We'll have to do something else.
The car is very fast.
He'll be in a NASCAR next.
Yeah. The car is very fast. It was very good.
It was very good.
French.
Motorcycles, KTM one.
Yep. Again.
Yeah, they're the most impressive off-road motorcycles right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, but it was the first for a British rider. It was Sam Sunderland.
Yeah, even though he's not from Great Britain.
Oh, really?
No, he lives in the Middle East somewhere, in Qatar, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, but he's
originally from Great Britain.
So he's an expatriate, but that's why he was good in the desert stuff because they said he has, rides in.
And that's what they interviewed him after one of the legs of it. It's like, how was it out there? And he's like, well, I live in the sand, so it was okay.
Yeah. Kamaz won. I guess that wasn't a surprise either.
Yep.
The big trucks.
Yep.
I don't know who won the quads.
It was a Russian.
Yeah, I
And it
don't
was
know.
the first time a Russian ever won anything other than the big truck class, which was kind of cool.
Oh, in quads?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a Russian rider on the quad, and it was the first time that because Russians they dominate the truck class because they make those big trucks pretty well.
I don't know the names because I don't want to butcher them, so it's just the
I'm not
Kamaz.
even gonna, hey, you wouldn't even saying the truck name wrong.
No, well, on the covers they call it Kamaz,
Yeah.
so that's how I say it. And also, so Dakar kind of kicks off like motorsports for the year.
Unless you're in America, there's Daytona 500.
Yeah, well, there's something before the Daytona 500, which
is way cooler.
The Rolex 24.
Yep.
So I've been wanting to go for like years, like many, many years. Just I like endurance racing. It's like, to me, the Daytona, the track, is like a temple to speed in the United States. It's like one of the great American tracks.
Yep.
Like Indianapolis or Daytona or Laguna Seca. Sorry, Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, right?
Gotta get that money.
Yeah, so I always wanted to go. I said YOLO, and I bought some tickets and plane tickets, and I bought tickets to the race and a pit pass, and I'm going to fly down Saturday morning, stay up all night, and fly back Sunday afternoon.
So you're just gonna really just going for it. No, it's like you're driving in the Rolex 24
Why do you
hours.
need to? There's no need to go down and get a hotel room.
There's absolutely no need to stay in Florida if you're not doing something anyway. So
Literally going down for a day.
sorry, Florida listeners,
Well, whatever.
you have to get out.
You know, it's like, well, from where we are near Boston, the JetBlue flights into Orlando, which is an hour away, were like super cheap.
Yep.
It was like under $200 to go down on a
Round
Saturday
trip?
morning. Yeah, well, on a Saturday morning,
Okay.
it was like $192.
For a round trip ticket.
No,
Oh,
that's one way.
Okay.
But to come back, I'll have to leave the track at like noontime. So, you know, endurance racing, it could be like a total bust by that time. There's like 2 hours left. It could be the race could be over, or there could be
Hopefully somebody's 400 laps up on somebody else, and you don't have to miss a photo finish.
yeah. Oh well, because the flight back leaves at like 3:00 or something.
And you want to get to the airport, obviously, return the car. And
Yeah, and it was only it was $84. So I was like,
That's ridiculous.
And then the next one after it was like over 200. So I was like, I'll just take the $84 one and miss 2 hours, whatever, because I'll be back here at 5:00
on Sunday.
on Sunday.
That's awesome.
So leave 8 a.m. Saturday, back 5:00.
Back to
on
work
Sunday.
on Monday morning.
Yep, not a problem.
I love it.
It's perfect.
Air travel is amazing.
Yeah.
And JetBlue is good, too, for decent priced flights. I've always had good luck with JetBlue. So.
The other thing too, a bunch of new cars this year are running.
Okay.
There's
The G4 GTs?
4 GTs will be running that I missed last year. I didn't get to see them anywhere.
Mid-engine Porsche this year.
Yep. The Lexus is running RCF. I think,
Okay.
In GT Le Mans. I could be wrong. I didn't look into it too deeply. The Lamborghinis are running. A bunch of GT cars.
Okay.
And then they got rid of the Daytona prototypes, and those are now the LMP2 cars.
It's basically the same thing, just reclassed.
No, totally different chassis.
Okay.
So remember the way the Corvette, the Corvette prototypes were?
Yeah,
Those
just Corvettes in name only.
Yeah, those are the Daytona prototypes. Those are gone.
Okay.
So they got rid of those.
It's a class that had those and like the R10s and stuff.
So now they
Audis.
moved into stuff that looks more like the Mazda car, the red Skyactiv car. It's an LMP2 with the big wing down the middle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now it's Cadillacs instead of Corvettes.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Same car, same motor.
Yeah, I don't know how the Cadillac engine really differs from a GM. It's a GM power plant, right? It can't possibly be that
it's just
different.
at this point, it's just marketing.
Yeah, it's LS based, I'm sure.
Yeah, even the CTS V and the Corvette have the same engine, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's not even a stretch. It's just marketing.
But it's cool regardless that there is a Cadillac endurance racing car.
Yes. Well, it's always been for even in the 50s. There was a Cadillac endurance racing car, like at Le Mans, the 1955 Le Monster. You ever seen that one?
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah, that was a Cadillac. They have a history in a small history in racing, but they have a history in racing. Mm-hmm. The mark of any good car manufacturer back in the day was racing success. So,
Yep. Well,
but that should be fun. I'm a little jealous. I'd like to go, but maybe next year.
yeah. Well, there's also, there's still Sebring's another good track down there to check out.
Which I haven't been to.
I've never been there either. But you've been in the Daytona 500. I've never been
I did
to
a
that.
similar trip to the Daytona 500 actually when I was probably preteen, early teenage years with my father, because he used to have tickets to the Daytona 500 every single year. So we went down. It was one year we flew down there the day before, drove to the track, watched the race, drove back to the. My uncle actually lived down there at the time. Drove back to his condo, and flew out of there the next day. So that was a lot of fun. And I'm not a huge NASCAR fan anymore. I was at the time. The sport has changed so much that I'm not really as into it anymore.
It was different in the 90s.
It was a lot different. It was a lot more competitive, a lot less. I guess there's a lot less fanfare surrounding it. It wasn't as like drama and all this other stuff you see with NASCAR now, and the points, the chase, and all this weird like race car playoffs. It wasn't what it is now. It was just a little more. I don't want to call it grassroots because it was certainly a multi-million-dollar sport, but it was a little more normal than it is now.
Yep.
More enjoyable than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been there for that, and it is a cool track, and it's definitely cool to see. Our seats were actually on the tri-oval, which was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool, because he had the same tickets since my grandfather started getting them in the 60s.
Yeah.
So every year they built new grandstands. Previous year ticket holders got upgraded, like a first rights of refusal for the upgraded seats. So we literally sat, I think it was 3 rows behind the flagman.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you could literally see everything on the whole track. But unfortunately, NASCAR got greedy, and they turned that into, you couldn't buy those tickets as tickets anymore, and you had to buy this like multi-$1,000 week-long pass, and we're like, well, we can't spend multi-$1,000 every year for one ticket to a race, so we had to let it go.
I spent less on the tickets to go to Daytona than I've spent on tickets to go to the 3-hour race at Lime Rock. For whatever reason, it's cheaper, maybe because it's a bigger place, and they
sell more tickets.
Yeah, they're bringing over more people.
I have
but
no idea.
It was like $60 for a ticket to just walk around everywhere. It's all general admission.
It's like $80 to go to Lime Rock.
Yeah, and then it was like another $45 for a pit pass. I was like, all right, whatever, I'm there.
Might as well get a pit pass.
And then in the shopping cart, it said something about breakfast for like that Sunday morning. I was like, sure, a buffet breakfast.
Could be a bowl of cereal. I don't care.
Yeah.
But for the $10 it costs, all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna want that. So
yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be worth it. It'll be fun. I'll take a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
We'll have to put a link to everything up and put an article up somewhere, and it should be. I can't wait to see the coverage. I'm sad I'm not going to be there. I'll have to watch from my couch, whatever I can. I don't know what coverage is going to be on TV this year.
Basically, that's what happened. The coverage is so bad, I decided to just fly there instead.
Well, I remember what was it Daytona last year that was split between like Fox Sports 2 and then the Fox Sports Online.
Probably.
And
then they do that for all of them.
And then they had put the finish or something back on Fox Sports 2, and they interrupted it for a soccer game, or it was something
is
stupid.
It too much to ask to just let it run for 24 hours?
Yeah, apparently it is.
Maybe
if they charge you more for a ticket.
So dumb. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyways, scale project updates. Any of those?
Not a ton. I get a little burnt out working on the Evo kit, only because that stupid black window trim that we talked about before. Mm-hmm. I had to put it down. I started working on an old 69 Camaro kit that I had lying around, the Yanko Camaro kit. Typical Revell kit. Nothing to really talk about. I'll put some pictures up.
The other day, I was like, I got the email from 1999.jp.
.co.jp.
.co.jp.
Yeah, it's the online hobby shop based in Japan.
It's not Hobby Link, it's Hobby Search.
Hobby Search, yeah.
So, but in there, they also sell American kits, which I don't buy them from them because it's...
No, because you can buy them here.
Yeah.
But if you're in Japan, you'd buy them from them.
Yeah. But anyway, they had, it was, I don't know if it's a new casting for Revell. It was like it was a black and white NASCAR style 57 Chevy.
It's fairly new.
But it wasn't a Bel Air kit.
Yeah, it's a 210 kit.
It's a 210 kit.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's a fairly
kind of
new kit,
cool. Yeah. Maybe I'll buy that for the next kit to build.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just feel like building a 50s car for some reason.
Well, when you do get ready to build a 50s car, I'll also build a 50s car, and we'll do a team build again. But we have to finish the Evos first.
Yeah, that's coming next. I'll get back to that. I've been working on the Evo 10.
The pre-painted Aoshima
pre-painted kit. It's so nice. Why doesn't everything come pre-painted?
Because it's not the same. Might as well buy a die-cast.
No, it's different with the die-cast. I don't buy a ton of die-cast because I like the act of assembling them. So, at least being pre-painted, I get to assemble it.
Okay.
So it feels like I did something. I mean, there are some really nice die-casts.
Absolutely.
I like put them on the shelf.
But collected die-casts for a while.
But I just want to build stuff. That's why I like that the Caterham kit, the Lego kit, because I just
put it together.
Put it together.
I'm actually excited. the new Lego Batman movie coming out because
Yes.
it means that I'll get to build a lot more Legos with my daughter.
Nice.
Because she loves Batman and she loves Legos.
Yes.
So it's perfect.
The did you? Oh, this is what I was thinking about this when I was putting together the Evo kit because it told me in one step like I was getting ready to put the body together, which I've got the front bumper glued on and the headlight buckets glued in and a couple other things, and it's moving right along. I'll probably do quite a bit after this. After you leave tonight, I'll go back upstairs and start working on it again. But anyway, in the instructions, it was like at step like 5, it was like put windows in. I was like, no, I'm not gonna put the windows in yet because I still gonna handle this thing a lot.
Yeah, fingerprints all the inside of it.
Yeah, or you might drip glue on them. Or
Yep.
so. Do you ever? How often do you follow the instructions in order in a kit?
I haven't in years.
I know. Or do you even?
I reference them every now and again for a part that looks weird. I don't know exactly where it goes,
And then
which is very rare nowadays.
like a simple kit, I might not even open the directions, right?
Yeah, not even at all. Like this Revell Camaro kit that I'm building. Like we've been building basic Revell American car kits since we were children, and I could not even look at the directions once and it'll be fine.
Well, you don't always do it because sometimes you got to build stuff in a subassembly and then it needs to be painted,
Right.
or you need to glue bumpers on before you paint the body, or
Yep. And
things.
the things you just learned over the years. It's just like our discussion about mechanics the other day. Like it's hard for us to quantify skill sets in mechanics the same way it's kind of hard for us to describe to somebody else how to build a model because we've been doing it for so long. It just comes naturally at this point.
I know, because that's the thing. I'm thinking, like, somebody wants to build one of these models, you're going to open up the directions and be like, what am I doing? And then the problem is, like, you might get to a step and you're like, shit, I really should have done something else first.
Right. Which the newer kits have done a lot better with this than the older kits have. But it's you can't teach experience.
I try to paint everything on the sprues before I take them off.
Yeah, 100%. That way
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, it's a lot easier.
And you just clean stuff up. It's easier to hold.
Yep.
Except for, like, exhausts, because you got to clean off the mold lines.
Anything that's
Otherwise you get those
tubular,
separation
roll
things.
gauges, exhaust. But whatever. There's a lot of little tricks you pick up over the years of doing it, and we could spend all day talking about that. But I don't think the majority of our audience wants to hear an hour of model car.
Yeah, maybe
talk.
not all our model car stuff, but every now and then. So, anyway, the Evo 10's moving along. Hopefully, I'll have that done by the end of the weekend. I'll put some more pictures of that on Instagram.
Yep. And speaking of scale cars, we still have the drawings of cars. The coloring contest still going on.
That's right.
Which we're working on a prize right now.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out. It'll be a surprise.
So there will be a prize. At least one prize, maybe two for digital. And
we do have a couple entries.
Absolutely. We have a few entries.
Should we? I guess we'll just post them all at the end.
Yeah, not right as we go along. At the end, we'll post them all.
We'll post them all at the end. That way, nobody's trying to, like, one-up each other.
Oh, they could one-up each other. Yeah. We'll post them all at the end.
But there are entries, so don't miss out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, don't think we forgot about it.
We did not forget about it. And there will be a cool prize. It'll be... We're not sure yet, but it'll either be a die-cast or a model or something cool that fits in the theme of the show.
Sure.
Which is off-topic, so it could be anything. It could be a bowl of soup. I don't know.
That'd be hard to mail.
A can of soup, then.
A can of soup. Okay.
No, but it won't be. It'll be a model car, a die-cast car, or a selection of smaller die-casts. We'll see what it is. We'll figure out something. Mm-hmm. We'll put together something cool. So, what's today's topic?
Well, we went over your car history last week.
Yes, I took over the whole show. We plan on talking about both of our car histories.
So I think we're going to do mine this week.
Excellent.
Which mine is significantly shorter.
Well, mine would have been a lot longer if we talked about all of them. There's been so many of them.
We had
to abridge it.
Abridge yours, yeah.
It was the Cliff Notes version of Brad's car history.
Yeah, because I am not as prolific with my car purchases.
The problem is you send me all the Craigslist links that I wind up buying, so you live vicariously through me.
It's true. So to buy them all.
Yeah, exactly. You should help me work on them.
Yeah. Whatever. Well, anyway.
What do we start with?
Let's start with my first car.
Okay, which I have fond memories of. And it's not its lack of gas door.
No, I think I fixed that.
I don't remember.
No. Well, anyway, it was as most first cars, it was a hand-me-down.
Yes, from your grandfather, correct?
Yeah, my grandfather. So in the year 2000, he bought...
In the year 2000. No, Brian. Sorry.
Yeah. He bought a brand new Volvo S70
Yes.
sedan.
Which currently today has 15,000 miles on it?
No, it's close to 60.
Oh, really? Went that high? Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's 17 years old. So yeah,
Yeah.
some miles.
Well, no, when he finally sold the New Yorker.
Yes,
That's when he started driving the
Yes.
Volvo. Because for the first 5 or 6 years of his life, it only had 5,000 miles on it.
Yep.
Anyway, so you got his hand-me-down, which was
It was he loves Volvo, so it was a Volvo. It was an '86 Volvo 740 GLE.
It was a good-looking car.
I like the boxy 740s.
Yeah, and it was a cool color combination.
Yeah, it was silver on a blood red leather,
Right.
but it wasn't the turbo model.
Nope.
Nope, and it was automatic.
Yep, so we dubbed it
It was the Silver Slug.
Yes, the Silver Slug.
But it had a sunroof, and it had power windows.
It was a perfect first car,
It
honestly.
had a manual antenna that I had to put up.
It was supposed to be a power antenna.
It's supposed to be a power antenna.
Yeah.
I'd go to leave work, and I want to listen to the radio.
You'd
so I
pull
had to
over.
Pull it. No, I'd walk out of the parking lot and pull the antenna up
That's funny.
so I could listen to the radio on the ride home.
It wasn't a bad car. It was a good first car. It was a good, solid, sturdy, safe car.
Yeah, it was
Perfect teenager car.
fun. Yeah, worked great.
I'd get a 740 from my daughter for her first car.
Ran great. That car's really old now, but they made those to no,
into the mid 90s, didn't they?
yeah.
Yeah. And then
Then they did a refresh thing called an S90 or something,
Yeah.
and it was the same damn car. That car lived forever.
as Volvos generally do, they stick to something till they get
Well, yeah,
right
the
and move on.
850 chassis came out in '93,
Yep.
and then that went on all the way through the 60 and 70 series till 2003 or 4.
I don't know
I
exactly.
think it was
what
02 or 03.
Yeah, 10 years. But I mean, look at the 240 chassis. That went from started as the 160 or whatever in the 70s
Yeah.
or the late 60s was it even, and that went all the way to the 90s. So
Yeah. Well, 240s, I think they made over 1 million cars.
oh, easily.
Yeah.
So what happened to that car?
I sold it.
Unceremoniously sold off the free car you gifted to your great grandfather.
Yeah. Oh, it had a blue fender, too.
Did it have a blue fender?
Yeah, because one of the fenders was rotted, so we went down to the local Volvo mechanic, and they had a junk car out back.
I don't remember that.
Yep, it had a blue, so it was like an ice blue fender.
It was almost silver.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
That's why I don't
but
remember.
it was on the passenger side, so I never saw it.
so it didn't bother you.
So I just forgot about it.
Yeah. So what replaced that?
I got.
What was the replacement for that?
See, I only had that Volvo for from April or something till August of that same year.
That wasn't very long.
It wasn't very long because I worked all summer and then I bought an Eagle Talon
Yes, you did.
because you had.
I apologize.
Yeah.
It's entirely. Not only is it 100% my fault because I had one and you liked it, but I also had the one you bought.
Well, yeah, you found it for me,
Yeah,
so I ended up buying. It was super cheap. We were talking about how cheap it was. So
it was $1,300, I think.
yeah, because it was in 1990 and I bought it in 2001.
Right. So it was 10 years old, 11
It
years
was
old.
10 years old,
Yeah.
and it was $1,300. Where can you get? You can't buy a turbocharged all-wheel drive car that's 10 years old now for
No,
$1,300.
what's an 07 WRX worth? 10 grand still?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that's insane.
Yeah. Well, it was a little cheaper probably than it should have been. It was definitely undervalued because I bought it from. I bought it with the intention of flipping it for money, and then you're like, I really like that car, and I was like, all right, well, you can have it for what I paid for it, obviously.
Yeah,
Because I bought it from a kid that I went to high school with.
yeah.
And it was just sitting in his yard. So I think he was just he was done with it. He'd bought a Honda Civic.
It hadn't in the motor didn't blow or anything. It wasn't that. It was just
Just sitting.
And then I remember the CV axles were bad. Maybe that's why he gave up on it.
It
Because
had bad CV joints and the headlights wouldn't go down.
they're clacking like crazy. Yeah,
Yep.
because it's sat because the pop-ups got sticky.
Yep.
So brought that home, and my dad and I did a bunch of work to it. Did the axles?
Yeah, probably less than $500 worth of parts.
Yeah, it didn't need much.
Yeah, so you're into that car for less than $2,000 when you had it running and driving, and it was pretty clean.
It was super clean.
I mean, it's a really clean car. It looked kind of ugly where it was sitting because it had been sitting for so long.
Yeah.
But once you spend some time polishing it and cleaning it, and that car, I mean, it still looks the same today.
well, yeah, I stopped driving it every day in 2004. So.
Right, but if you look at the car now and you say that's a really clean car, and you said, yeah, I bought it as pretty much somebody thought it was junk in their yard for $1,300, that's
Yeah.
no way, because the car looks that nice. And you haven't painted it or anything. It's all original paint, except for that one quarter panel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. And a little bit of rot that it has.
That's New England, Eagle Talon. They're all the same.
Yeah.
And most of it's underneath the plastic panels anyway.
Yeah,
so
but it didn't progress because
if you didn't tell anybody, they wouldn't even look at it.
stopped drinking. I stopped drinking it.
You stopped drinking it?
I stopped driving it in the rain.
I stopped drinking and driving.
Driving in the snow. I still drive in the rain if I had to, but
yeah, exactly. You stop driving it in weather where there's salt on the roads.
right. So that needs to be fixed.
But it's nothing really.
So that's a car I still own.
Correct.
So that car I've had 2001. This year makes 16
years. Yeah.
Wow, that car's
as old as you were when you bought it.
yeah.
had it as long as you were old when you bought it. Yeah. It's a very cool car. I'm glad you still have it because
I've owned that for half my life. Holy crap!
I really wish I still had mine. I'm jealous that you still have yours because that was still, despite all the tales of woe that I told on mine last week, it was one of my favorite cars.
Well, mine does too because in like 2003, I was driving home. It was a pouring rainstorm in our neighborhood, and one of the drains clogged. And I was only 19. I was like, no big deal. This is a rally car. I'll just drive through that.
I'll just rally through that puddle. Yes.
And then that hydrolocked it.
Yes, it did.
And I sent the number one piston through the cylinder wall.
Yes.
And
I remember it was a big hole, too.
It was a huge hole.
Yeah,
it exploded.
Yeah.
So
I remember you were very angry that day.
Yeah. Well, it was such a stupid thing. I just didn't realize what I was doing. But as we are when we're 19, so...
As all the stories of my talent go. You learned from my mistakes, but I never hydrolocked it, so you had one more mistake to learn.
That's right. So, regardless, my dad and I spent a bunch of time, and we rebuilt.
And a bunch of money.
Yeah. Not too much money, but that was... so it got rebuilt, and that's how it ended up with... It's got a 6-bolt... Car was always a 6-bolt car.
Yeah, it's a 90s.
But I got another 6-bolt, which I paid like $90 for.
Right. Again,
they were so cheap back then.
Dating ourselves.
Yeah. And it's got...
And that was a full long block. That wasn't just a short block?
No, it was a short block.
Oh, okay.
Got off of eBay. This is when you can get good stuff
on eBay.
Good stuff off eBay.
Yeah.
People actually put good used things on eBay. And you get deals. So, put that engine in, but modified it. So it's got
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a stock crank. Clip it. Was that the dog?
That was definitely the dog, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dog farting on the table.
Enzo.
Anyway, because I was stock crank.
Stock crank, Clavette bearings. It has Eagle H-beam rods with Arrayus 9-to-1 pistons.
Which was all the hot setup at the time.
Yeah, so it's not the original compression ratio. I think it was like 8.5 to 1 or something. It was low.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got high compression. And then the head is stock. I didn't even import the head. But it's got stage 2 cams.
Stage
2. It's which are like Crower. They are
272.
They're basically the 264, 272
okay.
combo. That's what makes them stage 2.
Right.
So it's got that nice lump at idle. It's got a timing belt is blue.
It's Kevlar.
It's Kevlar.
Yeah.
It's a Kevlar timing belt. It still has the balance shafts.
Also Kevlar.
It's Kevlar balance belt. What else did I do to it? Oh, it's got Evo 3 16G, which I bought for an actual 16G. These are before the Chinese copies existed.
Right, it was a brand new Mitsubishi Turbo.
Brand new Mitsubishi Turbo, ported, $700.
Yeah, which now that's probably double that. Right?
They're about double that. I think I could basically sell it for what I bought it for now.
Used, yeah, exactly.
Second gen manifold ported. What else did I do that engine? I think that's about it as far as the engine goes. Oh, it's got 550 RC 550 injectors.
Mm-hmm. Got a bigger pump too, right?
Yep, a 190 pump. DSM
the
Link.
Walbro 190.
Yep.
The old school DSM Link too, right?
Yeah, it's got version 2. I haven't upgraded yet. They're going to think I'm crazy when I finally upgrade because I just haven't gotten to it.
Right.
Like, who the hell is this guy? Because I'm the original owner. I'm still it's registered my serial number.
That's funny.
So,
who's this old man still tuning his DSM and DSM Link version 2?
This guy been in a coma for 10 years and he just pulled his car out of the garage? Or maybe
the car's been in a coma, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I was in jail.
Yeah, maybe. It's a jail car.
It's a jail car. It's got some jail carness to it. The intake tubes are red and the valve cover's red.
And it has wheels that you probably can't even buy anymore.
I don't think you can buy Rota Sub-Zeros anymore.
Yeah.
They're knockoffs of the... What were they knockoffs of? Racing Heart something?
Maybe C2 or C5 or something like that, yeah.
But
they're a good-looking wheel, and despite what everybody says, they've lasted a long time, even though they're...
I've had them since 2003,
Rotas,
and they haven't exploded.
And you've autocrossed on them, I think, right?
No, I
No.
never did anything with that car actually. That's the other thing. That's what I need to do this spring is put new tires on it because the tires are from 2003
Yeah, they're pretty old.
and they're worn out. So I really haven't been driving.
They're pretty choppy, too.
Yeah, they're not good. They got to go. So that's next.
I've offered you 1,000 times to use my old 16-inch alloys. And you always say no, but
No,
the offer's on the table again.
No, because I've got the HREs.
Yeah, but they don't fit.
No, they fit.
They got to be rebuilt.
No, they fit. The tires that are on them are too wide.
Oh, is that what it is?
If I put a narrower tire and then some camber bolts in the front, it'll totally fit. It tucks in the rear. It's fine.
Okay.
So that's...
Well, if it doesn't work out, second option is you can use my wheels.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the way the car sat from 2004 till now.
Except for the transmission.
Yeah, we covered that last week where I swapped the transmission.
The fresh rebuild out of my junk car.
Yeah, because I broke my transmission at one point. And then so we swapped that in there. So the car has basically been sitting in storage. I've driven it occasionally. It's registered and stuff.
Yeah, it gets started and idled.
But it's pretty much as it was
moved from garage to garage.
from 2004. And now this year, that's one of the things I want to get it running again. Well, it runs. I want to get it set up again and done right.
Yeah, get it daily drivable again.
Yeah, do the brakes over, new tires, put the new wheels on it, clean it up a bit. Maybe next year have the rust repaired because it's not like...
It's not necessary. A, you can't see it. B, it's not getting any worse. I wouldn't even worry about it right now.
I want to take care of it.
I mean, absolutely take care of it.
I know it's there, so it's bothering me.
No, 100%. You absolutely take care of it. I wouldn't rush to get it done right now. It's not an emergency. Get the car running good again first, then worry about it after.
But anyway, so that's that car. But while I was doing all that stuff to it,
Because the car was down.
I got another car.
Yes.
I got a Volvo 240
Which was also what
GLE.
color?
It's also silver.
Yes.
On black, which had the weirdest anti-theft system I've ever seen.
Oh, it had like an old spy movie keypad on the dash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I had the code. They gave us the code because I bought it as like a used from the Volvo dealer
yeah.
as a trade-in, the original owner. So you put in the code and the car would start. And then like one day we were messing around and we just ran our hand down the keypad. It was
And
like
it
a
worked.
phone
Yeah.
keypad and it just started.
Yeah.
It's like you just confused it.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
I forgot about that stupid little thing.
Yep.
So that was what dubbed the...
That was a Silver Slug 2.
Right, because it was like the newer version of the old Silver Slug.
Yeah,
because it was also a 4-cylinder backed by a woefully horrible automatic transmission.
Yeah, those Volvos with automatics, 240s. I mean, put your kids in them because they're slow as hell.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good first car. It's a good, safe, solid first car, but it is a slow car
I still want one though
with a manual transmission.
with a manual transmission. Well, I want to. Isn't the hut setup to swap in a front-wheel drive turbo motor into it?
I've seen a few done that way. We go to the Imports at Carlisle show. There's usually a few with
Like a 5-cylinder turbo. In it?
5-cylinder
Is that what
turbo,
people
yeah.
do. Because I kind of want to do that. That's something that's on my list of
Someday in the
cars
future.
to do is like either a Volvo or a sedan. I'd like a chrome bumper car though,
An early one. Yep.
an early one.
Yeah, 'cause this was a later car. This was like a 93, 94.
I mean, because like the super crazy swap is I'd put a 4G63 in it, but that's like to me,
Yeah.
like that's too something I would do.
There's also a 4G63 Volvo local.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Brad Anderson's friend.
Oh yeah.
Matt something. I think it's a 740 though.
And I don't want to do the
4G63.
5-liter. I mean, that's cool.
I would do the 5-liter.
Yeah, it is
Just
kind of
'cause it's
cool.
the old
It is
school
pretty
swap.
cool, but
So I have a funny story
like
about
the
your
Paul
Volvo.
Newman swap. But
Wait.
I think like the Volvo, keep it in the family, like a Volvo turbo engine swap.
The B series Volvo, what do they call it? Whatever.
That
it
would be
is.
pretty cool.
So one day, I forget why, but Joey and I were driving your Volvo,
Yeah.
and we were at the restaurant in Salem at the time, the Ground Round.
Yeah.
I forget why you weren't in the car. Did you take my car?
I took one of your cars.
Yeah. So Joey and I are being stupid in your car. But you told the story since, so this is not new to you. You've heard the story.
I know.
But we tried to do a burnout in your car. Like, we tried to do a brake stand, I should say. So we sat there in the parking lot, in the sand on top of it. It was not even on dry pavement. And we brake torqued the thing over and really, really tried to break tires loose. And the car would not spin the tires at all. Mm-hmm. And then it made a funny noise. And then we said we should probably stop.
Yep.
So we pulled out of the parking lot. And the car wouldn't shift out of first gear. So we drove the car all the way back to your house a couple miles away in first gear, parked it, put it in park, shut it off, and walked away, and said, we'll deal with that later. So the next day you went out to the car, obviously, and the car started right up, and it shifted fine. So obviously we overheated something, whether it was a torque converter or something in the transmission. I don't know what it was. But thank God we didn't blow the transmission up in the car because we would have been so pissed. But I remember Joey's kind of looked at me and we were like, it's going to be fine. We're just going to walk away and everything's going to be fine.
We broke all the motor mounts in it.
By doing stupid stuff like that. I remember you drifted into a curb one day with that car, too.
No.
At the snow parking lot? Mm-mm. No? Wasn't that car? I could have sworn that was you.
Nope. No. We did go to see, this is how long ago it was. It was opening weekend for The Last Samurai.
The movie Last Samurai?
The movie Last Samurai, the Tom Cruise movie.
Wow.
So it was in the winter time, and we went into the movie knowing a nor'easter was coming. And we came outside. We went in. It wasn't snowing. We came out because it was like a stupid 3-hour-long movie.
Right. It was a stupid movie.
It was a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Don't fucking see that movie. Don't waste your 3 hours. I don't even remember that movie. I've only seen it once. Sorry, in the theater.
I remember the Best Buy parking lot afterwards, but I don't remember the movie itself.
Yeah, there's videos somewhere of us drifting around in the parking lot.
Right. Was that the time the cop came up?
No,
Or
no.
was it the time with the tractor? The tractor's coming down.
Nope.
And we run up with the tractor.
The mall security came up, and the guy was like, all right, whatever. Just,
Oh, okay.
I don't care.
So what were we in when Joey convinced the cop to do a donut in his car after he yelled at us?
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe I wasn't with you.
Maybe not. I'm pretty sure it was Joey. It was something, we were doing a donut somewhere.
I know I
in the
was
snow.
in that car, and I left work, and there was a Lowe's behind my work, and I was fooling around the parking lot in a snowstorm, and the cop came up and pulled me over. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, oh.
Nothing.
He's like, "Do you work here?" I was like, "Next door." He's like, "All right, just leave."
Yeah.
Okay.
They can't really get too mad at you because, I mean, it's a big open parking lot.
And
No
it
one
was
cares.
snowing.
It was
trying
snowing.
to learn how to control my car.
Exactly. It's rally school. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that car was terrible.
I had that like over the winter, and then in the
Yep.
spring,
You were like, I've had this car enough. I can't do this anymore. It's awful.
I worked at a dealership, and a 2000 Civic Si got traded in. The woman bought a Infiniti i30 instead.
Horrible decision.
Okay, whatever. So, anyways, I ended up with a 2000 Civic Si that had like 80,000 miles
That
on
was
it.
a really nice car. The Electron Blue Pearl.
Yep.
The classic SI color.
Yep, it had the spoiler, and had the rear spoiler. It had the front lip spoiler.
Which, like all the SIs had that, right?
Not all of them had rear spoilers.
They all had the front lip spoiler, though.
Yeah, and yeah, it was a real car, a real Si.
Yep. Wasn't a badged.
Nope. And that was a super fun car. I had that for all the way till like I got
for
it
a
like
few years.
04. I had it till like 06.
So you set that car all up, too, with coils and, the different shifter and the intake and tires and wheels.
Had the Password JDM knockoff of the J's racing intake.
Yep.
The big carbon one that was like used to call it a whale dick.
Yeah, so they call it on the online forums.
Yep. And so that's basically all I did the engine on that. That made it sound super cool.
Right, stock exhaust with a big intake, because it didn't have that annoying Honda sound.
Yeah, so all you heard was VTEC when you got into VTEC.
Yeah, it was a fun car.
Super fun. I had a Skunk 2 shifter.
Yep.
I had, I don't know what this company was, Omni Power coilovers.
Yes, which I think is like the version of like K-Sport nowadays. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to them. But I still see Civics running around with his Beaks kits that I had for the rear sway bar.
The one that connects the
Yeah, I put an
arms together.
I put an ITR rear sway bar in it instead of the stock one. What else did I didn't do much else other than that.
Wheels and tires, that was about it.
Yeah, I just put like I had Rhoda the autocross wheels,
They got hit like twice in a week, and he had the whole car painted.
and it was my mom backed into it,
Yeah, I
and then I
remember
got rear-ended like a week later.
Yep. So you want to get the whole car painted, so it's brand new again.
The they were called Rhoda autocrosses.
Yeah, the Auto-X.
Yeah,
It was a black four-spoke with a red anodized
with a red lip,
which looked really cool in the blue car, despite what it might look like in your head.
No, it was really cool looking. I've had Rhodas on a bunch of cars. I had the
Yeah,
Rhoda
exactly.
T37 knockoffs on that too at one point.
They were too big. They bought 16s.
They were
I think.
16s. Yeah, they were too big. So
sold them.
I sold them. And then I had for autocrosses, they were the knockoff of the Spoon wheels, the Regamaster wheels.
Yep. Rode a Slipstream.
They weren't even Rhoda Slipstreams. They were like
they were
a
just
knockoff
like-
of the Rhoda Slipstreams. There was this company that was selling. You could buy Falcon Azenuses with tires and wheels for like super cheap.
Yeah.
For like $500, and that's what I bought them for. And I would only swap them on for for autocrosses.
So we here at Auto Off Topic are not wheel elitists. We're totally okay if you have a budget.
Rotas all day. I don't give a fuck.
Like, we have nice wheels on cars, too, that we bought for a car we'll talk about later, the braids from Spain that were custom made for the car.
Yeah.
But as far as a general everyday wheel goes, if you're going to be driving the car every day and parking it everywhere, I have no issue with people running rotas. I have rotas on a couple of cars, too.
That is greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, I have my Cressida has rotas on it, my Sapporo has rotas on it.
Despite what the internet tells you, your wheels will not explode.
No. I mean, they might explode if you get in a situation where any other wheel might explode, but...
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever an issue.
If you hit a curb at 80 miles an hour, then the wheel's probably going to break.
It's going to break no matter what, yeah. I never had one come apart on me on the highway. And I've had on my Sapporo since I've owned it, only because the tires are brand new when I got it, and it's had a really wide set of the TE37V knockoffs with like stretched Toyo, like super stretched Toyo tires on it. And I've never, even with the stretched tires, had a problem with the wheels. So
the Civic was interesting because the entire time I owned it, it never got broken into and it never got stolen.
Which is rare for a Civic Si
because
in this area.
In a city that wasn't. You lived in a city that wasn't like the nicest city, and an area that was kind of known. Yeah,
I lived in Lynn. It's called Lynn, the city of sin. It was not a great place,
and in an area that was like probably known for theft.
Yeah, very much so.
So, and I used to park over there by your house all the time. No problems.
Never had an issue, no. Which is strange because those cars always get stolen.
Always, because they're super easy to steal.
Yeah, and the parts fit everything.
Yes. Which comes the next thing is when I traded it in, that's when it got stolen.
At the dealership the next day.
From the dealership.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe somebody knew they got traded in or whatever.
Somebody that worked there. It was an inside job.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I got like a letter when they recovered it from the...
Oh, yeah, because you were the last registered owner.
Yes, from the towing yard, wherever it was, in like Lawrence somewhere.
Yep.
And they were like, you owe like this much money. I was like, no, I don't.
Yeah, definitely not.
I like called them up. I was like, I don't own the car anymore. And the guy's like, you gotta fax it to me. I was like, well, all right. So I just like faxed in the purchase and sales agreement. I was like, not the owner anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I remember that actually. Try to get money out of you.
Because it was like it was like a carcass of a car.
So what did you trade that in on when it got stolen?
See, working a dealership is sort of beneficial and sort of not.
Mm-hmm.
A guy traded in a 2005 STI in 2006. It only had 21,000 miles on it.
And it was black and pretty.
It was black and perfect. And I bought it for $21,000.
Right, which is like giving it away at that point.
Yeah, the used car manager liked me. He was just like, whatever. I'll just sell it to you for, it was like
whatever they were
$100 over.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so stupid cheap because those cars are worth way more now.
Yep.
Same thing with clean SIs.
Yeah, I think you paid $9,000 for the SI, didn't you? Something like that, or 10.
Yeah,
that was cheap money at the time.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was cheap money too.
But if you wanted a clean 2000 SI now, it's like $7,000.
Yeah, which is not much less than you paid for it then.
No.
Which, if you want a clean SI now, it's still worth $7,000.
Yeah,
awesome cars.
And I tried to sell mine back then. I was asking like $7,000, and people were like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "Oh, it's a pretty nice car."
Well, I remember that when you traded it in, you called me and you're like, "Hey, they're offering me this for trade-in. Do you want to buy the car?" And I was like, "I really do, but I can't right now, man."
Well, you had the Evo at the time,
exactly. So I had a huge car payment.
What we probably should have figured out is because you needed to lower your car payment, and I was
moving out of my cheap apartment in Lynn,
so we probably should have done like a car swap thing, but we didn't
do it.
Think about it right. So, regardless, I ended up with an STI, not an STD.
It's a dark point in Andrew's life. You wound up with a Subaru.
Why is that? I like that car.
I know.
I like that car a lot.
It was a nice car. I like the car a lot too. I'll forever make fun of it because at the time I had my Evo and I like my Evo better because I feel that the Evo was a little more direct of a car and the STI was a little more of it was a little more compromised for daily driving comfort.
And sort of.
Yeah.
It's compromised as a early STI can be.
Yeah. It's not a luxury car by any means, but the Evo was always seemed to be more ridiculous of a car. Like, just ridiculous. Like, why do you buy this car and drive it every day? It's stupid.
That was a fun car. I had that for about 2 years.
Yeah, pretty much the same setup you had in that car. You had in the STI.
I had
coils.
I had Zeal functions. I had real nice coilovers on it.
Yep.
Zeal function version 6s. I had a turbo back exhaust.
The Apex Noir.
With the Apex I, Noir. So it was just like a flat black can.
Yep.
It sounded really good. It was really quiet around
You
town.
also had the typical, at the time it wasn't typical, but now it's the typical Subaru every kid gets first stuff.
Yes.
Rally armor flaps and hella horns.
See, I had old school, the hard rally armor flaps.
Yeah,
You can't buy
before
anymore.
it was popular.
And then the...
You STI hipster.
Yes, that's right. I was an STI hipster. That car was super clean, and then
Now it's junk.
now it's junk.
Yeah. Not because of you.
Nope.
Because it's who bought it after you got rid of it.
Yeah. It was trash.
No, because you traded that in as well, correct? Mm-hmm. For the...
That was when I got the Evo 10.
Okay.
And I had that for...
Less than a year?
No, about 2 years.
Oh, was it that long, really?
Yeah, but it didn't get driven for like 6 months because that was when I blew up my Achilles tendon.
Oh, you could drive manual transmission car.
Yeah, so the car had... Like when I got rid of it, it had like 12,000 miles on it.
Oh, because you bought that brand new.
I bought it brand
Yeah.
new. It was a leftover. I bought it in January of 2009.
Okay, so...
It was a year-old car. It was a 2008. I bought in January because they... Here's the thing. If somebody tells you in the United States they have a 2009 Evo, they're lying.
Okay.
Because they didn't sell 2009 Evos.
They're all leftover 08s.
They were all leftover 08s. They skipped a year and went to 2010. Because in 2008, the markets crashed. Remember? Mm-hmm. The recession?
Mm-hmm.
They had too many cars.
So what's their excuse now? Why didn't you still buy a new 2015?
See, that was always my excuse. That was my Mitsubishi apologist for the Evo 10 was that it was the right car,
At the wrong time.
the wrong economy.
It was definitely a nicer car than
It was
the
an
Evo 8
excellent,
and 9 were.
excellent
Yeah.
car that came out in 2008, and then the economy went to shit and nobody bought them,
Right.
and then they couldn't do anything with it. They never developed it anymore.
Have they held their value as much as the 8s and 9s have? Or have they kind of tanked a little bit?
I don't think they've held their value as much as the 8s and 9s.
Because the 8s and 9s are still, almost 20 grand for a clean lower mile one.
I don't think they have. I think they're probably even because they're
Okay.
newer. Mm-hmm. But I don't think
Because they are pretty and they are a good daily driver car. They're nice cars.
They're super nice cars. They're super solid.
The one thing I didn't like about it, because it was so solid, it never felt as fast as the older ones.
No.
Just because it was a much better built car, so you didn't have that fear of death when you drove it fast.
Unassumingly fast.
Yeah.
But whatever. Oh, but I forgot. So in between, at the same time I had the STI, because I didn't want to drive my all-wheel drive car in the wintertime because salt.
Right.
I bought it was my turn for the Mirage. I bought the Mirage off you.
The Mirage that I used to have, which we didn't even talk about last week.
The Rally Mirage?
Yeah, we should have talked about it. We didn't.
Do you want to do the history of the Rally Mirage first then?
Sure. Real quick, in the history of the
we've
Rally
got time.
Mirage. My father bought the car. Yeah. Now, he was an appraiser for an insurance company, and he went to a shop that both of us knew the owner, and the owner of the shop's like, hey, this is when I had the Eagle Talon.
So what year was this?
This is 1999 or 2000.
Okay, it's a 95 Mirage.
The car's 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like it's a 5-year-old car.
Yeah.
It had gotten smashed light in the front. It needed a bumper cover, a headlight, a little radiator support pole, and a hood and a fender. Not much work at all. No airbags blew or anything. So this is a 5-year-old car. And he goes, hey, one of my customers had crashed with their car. It's an old Mitsubishi. I think your son's into those little Mitsubishis, isn't he? And I was like, oh, it depends on what it is. And he goes, what's out back? Go take a look at it. You can have it for what I'm into it for. And I was like, all right, we'll take a look at it. And he called me, and he said, hey, do you have any interest in a 95 Mirage? I was like, not really, because what am I going to do with a 95 Mirage?
Yeah.
I had no idea what they were, really. It wasn't an Eclipse. It wasn't anything I was familiar with. And he goes, all right, well, we'll think about it. So he went back into the office, and he said to the guy, he's like, I don't know if he really needs it or not. And he goes, you can have it for $200. And my father was like, for $200, I'll find a home for it. Yeah. So we paid $200 for a 5-year-old Mirage. And it wound up being one of the greatest car purchases of our entire car history. It sat in my yard.
How many miles were on it when...
70-something thousand.
Okay, so in 1999, there's 70,000 miles on it.
It might have been 2,000, so like I said. But anyway, it didn't have many miles on it. So basically, the person crashed it. They spent the insurance check on God knows what and never got the car fixed.
Well, they were driving a Mirage, so...
Yeah, well, what does that mean? We
I
love
don't know.
Mirages. We love Mirage people.
Yep.
People who buy small cars are smart. They're not all questionable people. Anyway, the car had like 70-something thousand miles on it. It wasn't a ton of miles. It sat in my parents' yard for a little while. I wasn't really interested in it, and then I got rid of my Audi, I think, or I got rid of something. I didn't have a winter car, and I was like, oh, I kind of want that car. And then I called my father, and he's like, oh, I gave it to your sister. And I was like, oh, that stinks. He's like, but you can have her old Blazer, because she had like an 88 or 89
Oh, the S10
Blazer.
always comes back to the S10s.
Exactly. He goes, she doesn't feel safe driving it anymore. You can have that. I was like, oh, so it's fine for me to drive it, but she can't drive it? But in fairness, she was in college in Keene, New Hampshire, so she had a long commute to college. So she took the Mirage for a few years and never cleaned it, never washed it, never did anything with it, learned how to drive stick in it. So it came back from her driving it for a couple of years and was a little bit rusty.
Yeah.
Because she went to college in Keene, New Hampshire, and never cleaned the salt off of it. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. And I was working like 50 miles from home, so I wound up getting it back from my sister, and I drove it for a few years.
Yeah.
Up to the point where we rally crossed it a few times.
No, this is like 2005, 2006.
Yeah, 2006-ish. Now, we're still into the car. I mean, even with the repair in the front of the car, we were into the car for sub $1,000. Like, we weren't into the car for very much. I think my father traded some guy some other parts or something to help fix his car, or fix the car or something. I don't remember what happened. But we're into the car for no money at all. We've had it now for like 5 or 6 years.
So now the car is like over 150K.
Right, because I drove it a lot.
Yeah,
I drove it a ton.
Yeah.
It got 42 miles a gallon on the highway,
Yep.
and I was doing like I was doing like 100-mile days in the car. And we rally crossed it a few times at that point, I think, when I had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then eventually, I think this is where we found. Oh, so this is what happened. I had the. How did this happen?
You had the STI.
Yep, and we were going to go rally crossing again. We wanted to get really serious about it.
Right.
So we were splitting the car basically, but then I was driving it most of the time.
Yeah, you were like dailying the car.
Yeah, and then
I needed some money, and I was like, I'm going to sell the car, and you're like, no, I'll just buy it.
Yeah, and then eventually I think I ended up buying it later on, but I actually bought the white Starion for you, and then traded you the Mirage or whatever.
That's what it was. I wanted the white Starion.
Yeah.
I didn't have the cash. You did.
Yeah.
You didn't want the white Starion, but you wanted the Mirage.
Yeah.
So we paid like $700?
$800.
$800 for the white Starion?
Our $800
Yeah.
rule.
And then I traded you the red Mirage for it afterwards.
Yeah.
That's what
That
what
was
it
years later, but
Yeah.
So anyways, we rally crossed that car a shit ton.
Yep, a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Like every week.
And then eventually, I mean, I drove that up to 2013
Correct.
daily.
And then I drove it again.
And then you drove it again for like a year, and that was when it got smashed into.
It was more than that. It was 2 years I drove it for.
Really?
Yeah, because I drove that when I worked in Hyde Park and in Salem and in Marblehead.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so I drove it for 2 more years. It only got wrecked last year.
Was it last year? No,
Yeah.
it was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago now? So 2015?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it was February of 2015.
Yeah. Because I got rid of it when I got my new job and I was riding the train every day. I was like, we don't need 2 cars.
Right. So I bought it back again.
Yeah. And then eventually, I mean, I was calling out the mileage because by the time it finally got towed to the junkyard, it had 230,000 miles on it.
Just actually like 237 was where it was at when we went to the junkyard.
I mean, we did all the maintenance to it. I did timing belts and
It
stuff.
was the original motor, original transmission.
Yep.
And I mean, that thing got beat hard on the daily. Like, it got really beat hard. Like, there was like red line shifts everywhere.
I did the head gasket once.
Timing belt like 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
We never put a clutch in it, did we? It got a clutch when my sister had it. Because she learned how to drive 5-speed.
I never put a clutch in it.
It got a clutch when my sister was driving it when it had like 90,000 miles on it. She put a clutch in it. Because again, she was learning how to drive stick.
I did front brakes, rear brakes.
I did the brakes in when I first had it too. So I got at least 3 or 4 sets of brakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I put rebuilt calipers in it at one point.
Yeah. New control arms.
Starter, new control arms. New struts.
We rebuilt the exhaust 1,000 times because we ripped it off rally crossing it all the time.
Yeah. Exhaust is so stupid. And then finally it just rotted through the cross member from the front to rear.
Which I fixed.
Under the engine. Oh, you had it fixed?
Yeah, I fixed that. Because they couldn't, the motor mount was just loose. The motor was loose in the car.
And it broke the exhaust again.
And it broke the exhaust again, so I had to fix the cross member. That was the last thing I did to the car.
And then have the exhaust fixed so you can get a sticker. It's
right.
So annoying.
Then the car, unfortunately, at 237,000 miles, a driver with no insurance.
This car was going to keep going.
Oh, yeah. I would still be driving the car.
Yeah.
A driver with no insurance blew a stop sign in front of me in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
So I hit the brakes, and there was just nothing. Like, it was just, I just slid and T-boned him. So it wasn't bad. I mean, the car still drove home, but it was bad enough because with a fender mounted, it was so rotten just from being abused on the daily and not taken care of. We didn't take care of the car. We mechanically took care of the car.
I never washed it.
We never washed it, never cleaned it. It looked ugly. It got
to a point it was like, washing is not making it any better.
We had dents covered in, what was that, Digicamo, red and black Digicamo. Because you couldn't tell there was a dent there. You put Digicamo over it.
Nope.
It was an awful, terrible, awesome car.
Yes.
And the coolest thing you had to do with that car was what? The wheels.
Yes. Because we kept bending the factory wheels.
Because Mitsubishi wheels in the mid-90s are made out of...
They're made of recycled aluminum cans.
Yeah.
So they're really soft. So I bought from Team Illuminata. He was doing
Susquehanna, Pennsylvania?
Nope.
No.
Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Oh, yeah.
He's got the 911.
Yeah, that's right, too. Yeah, TIM.
So he's one of the braid dealers in the U.S. He was doing like a stock order. It was like one of the first imports that he did. I got a set of 4x100.
Yeah, custom made for the car.
14x6.
Yep.
Well, they're not custom made. They're blanks that they have.
Yeah, custom drilled for the car.
Yeah, custom
special
drilled
ordered for the car.
They're the only ones I know of that are 14x6 braids in the U.S.
And there aren't many 4x100 braids either.
And they're 4x100. So
I forget the model name of the braid is.
I only bought 4 at the time because they were expensive. I probably should have bought 6, but whatever.
No, they're still in good shape. I still have them.
Yes.
I didn't junk the car with them, obviously, because they're really nice wheels.
No.
They're worth more than the car when you bought them.
No, whichever one of us has another 4x100 car.
Yeah, exactly. I was the beginning of this winter. My truck wasn't done. I was going to take Deb's Miata, and I was going to slap those wheels on the Miata because they had snow tires on them. Mm-hmm. But then we wound up selling the Miata.
So that was the fun with the Mirage. That kind of went into the Evo 10. I had that for like a year and a half. I never did anything to that.
No, I just drove it and enjoyed it.
Just drove it. When I could, because my Achilles tendon was busted.
Right.
And then I drove...
Which actually, you drove the Mirage first.
Yeah. No, I continued to drive the Mirage. Actually, I drove the Mirage the week after I blew my Achilles tendon out. Like it was a complete separation, but I drove a manual transmission with it to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then
because everybody's like, "Oh, you're fine."
Yeah. So that was awful.
Your nurse mother, "You're fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine." Oh wait, I screwed up. You're not fine. Yeah. She felt really bad. I'm gonna be funny as Andy, but.
And then I got rid of the Evo 10. I kept driving the Mirage till, like I said, till 2013. But in between that, because I used that as a daily in 2010.
Well, it's because your girlfriend, now fiance, had the reliable Subaru that you could rely on.
But I was still driving the Mirage a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Because in 2011, that's when I bought the rolling shell that became my Galant VR4.
Galant VR4.
So that was a $1,500 car.
Yeah.
Which that shell probably should have been way more than that.
Yeah, it's probably a $3,500 shell now.
Because it's super clean.
If I were to sell my Galant VR4 with a blown motor, I'd be looking to get $4,000 out of it.
Yeah. Because it was super clean, but it had no engine, no transmission, and the wiring was all fucked up. So
we didn't know how bad either until we started working on it.
I knew the wiring was messed up, but I was like, nah, whatever, we can fix it.
Yeah, and we did. Oh, you did.
So yeah, that was another thing that was my dad and I spent probably from 2011 till 2011 till spring 2012.
Yeah, because you didn't do it like hack it back together. You rebuilt the wiring harness from scratch, and you did a really nice job in that car.
We'd already done a 4G63 before, but that engine is much more stock.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a stock rebuild, stock turbo. It's got a boost controller on it.
Exhaust.
Turbovac exhaust, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a nice, fun car. It's not a drag racer by any means.
Yep. Nope. Car's just a nice driving car. And
you've driven it to Texas and back.
Yep.
So.
I've put... The shell had 125,000 on it, and now it's got 155,000.
So you've done 25,000 miles, 30,000 miles.
30,000 miles from 2012 to 2016. So
it's not daily driven, but driven enough.
And I've been splitting that up with now in 2015. That was when I bought the 89 Montero. The
$800 car. Yeah.
$800 Montero.
Which is not anymore because you put a lot of work into it.
No, I put a shit ton of work into it. So
it's basically a brand new 89 Montero now, as far as mechanically goes. Mechanically, it's brand new.
Yeah.
Appearance-wise, it's the 89 Montero.
Yeah.
Mechanically, it's
a good amount of it's pretty new.
Drive it anywhere.
And I've been driving that daily instead, mostly. Except for if it's a nice day in the summertime.
Yeah, keeping the salt, again, off the Galant.
Yeah. And actually, the Montero is more of like I drive it weekly. I drive it like on the weekends. Because it's not great on gas. They're just not. It gets like 20 miles a gallon. Yeah, so drive it to work every day would suck.
It's not wonderful.
So it's good for weekend driving and camping. And
it's very cool for camping and doing off-road driving.
Yeah, we gotta cover that in a future episode. We'll get to that. But that's
Amateur's Guide to Off-Road Driving.
yeah, that's my entire car history.
There's nothing else.
That's it.
Well, you had my Yamaha motorcycle for a little while, but you never rode it.
I did. I didn't do anything with it.
You parked it at Joey's house.
Yeah.
It's back in my basement now.
Yep. I did nothing with that. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. So now that's good because we hadn't covered our own cars.
Yeah. Talked about everybody else's stuff.
Yep.
So we promised this is the last week we'll talk about our own cars for the whole entire time.
Yes.
But, we will still update our new projects.
Now when we're doing project car updates, you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly. You know what we had, what we still have, and you'll know how it goes along during our project car updates. So, like we said, my project car update today was I bought a new truck.
Yep.
Andrew's he put his truck up for sale.
That's right.
Oh, actually, I did something else. If you want to go back to project car updates, I did work on the Brown Colt this week.
Oh.
Because it's skipping. It's been skipping for a while. And I've rebuilt the entire ignition system.
Yeah.
And it's still skipping. So I did a compression test, make sure it wasn't like something stupid, and everything compression checks out fine. New coil, new plug wires, new cap, new rotor, new points, set the points properly. So the only thing left is the distributor. So I don't know if it's got a bad distributor. I'm really not interested in looking at it right now. When the weather breaks, maybe I'll get a little better into it, but now I get the truck to drive, so I'm not worried about it. I do have that parts motor.
You can put the Brown Colt in the bed of the truck.
Tow it anywhere, yeah.
Just bring it anywhere you want.
It is a big truck and a small car, yes. So that is
You can sit
to go off topic there. That's back to
inside the Brown Colt, and I can drive the truck for you. You can pretend that you're driving the Brown Colt.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
So, well, I think that's a podcast.
Sounds good to me.
So please sorry, let me start that out. Please rate, review us on iTunes. I guess that really helps.
Yes.
I'm told. You can share it with a friend if you like us.
Or all of your friends.
Or all of your friends. You can find us on Facebook at Auto Off Topic Podcast.
That's where you'll find the coloring contest.
Yes, don't forget the coloring contest. I've pinned that to the top of our page.
I saw that, yep.
So you can find it.
I've kind of put that in a few places, too. A couple of the car pages I've shared it, too.
Yes, it is a link to a Google Drive folder. So you can download it.
Pictures.
You can also see so it's the PDFs are in the Google Drive folder. If you want to look at JPEGs, they're on the Facebook album.
Yeah,
whatever.
Like we said, we're doing a regular, you can color with pens and pencils, or you can do it digitally, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, if you don't want to print it out. So you can do that. You can follow us on Auto Off Topic on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at RacedInAnger. And
you can follow me at TSISS350 on Instagram.
Yep.
You can follow my business, Vintage Imports of New England, at Vintage Imports NE on Instagram, and Vintage Imports of New England on Facebook, and the website, vintageimportsne.com.
Which my Silver Montero is listed on?
It is. And it's Vintage Imports NE, not Vintage Importni. I don't know if you listened to the other podcast this week, Clutch Kick.
No.
Really good podcast.
Yeah.
But they put a listener questions thing up on Instagram, and I didn't realize what account I was on. I was on the business account, and I asked a question. So they got to they say who asked the question. He goes, "Oh, it's Vintage Importni," and I was like, "Oh man!" And then Bradley Brunell was on, and he goes, "You know what that is, right?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right." So it was pretty funny.
So, my truck's for sale on there. It's also on Craigslist. I also said on Craigslist I was open to trade. So if there's like a really interesting import car, vintage car,
something
want
cool.
to trade. Something cool, I'd be down for that, figuring that out. Never actually traded a car, but...
How many roses would you take for that car? Sorry. You're completely derailing the conversation right there.
So, I think we're going to call that.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Keep your cars analog.
Have a good night.
Good night. See you next week.